like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings. This is the channel you need, so subscribe and follow Carmentary.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Carmentary. Taking my usual drive from my house out to Niseko for a meeting today, and I got some time here. It's kind of one of those cloudy days, not really great weather, a little rain. Perfect time to record an episode of Carmentary. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my latest purchase. I just did the unboxing at my office before I left for this drive. Maybe I'll splice a little of that in here. I have been recording these Carmentary episodes and a whole bunch of other stuff, all my snowboarding video vlogs. A large percentage of them are all filmed on this camera, which is the GoPro Hero 7. GoPro Japan, I've got a friend who works there, and he actually sent me this camera in a nice promo package. I guess it was right after it came out. They did that with probably like a bunch of influencers, all over the globe. They sent them cameras and then, hope that they say good things about it. And I used it all winter. I think the stabilization is fantastic. I think they did a great job. I've always liked GoPros. I like the size, the design, the features. I'm pretty much happy with it. The only thing that I would say negatively about GoPros in general and the GoPro 7 is they do have a lot of little buggy issues with, freezing up, data getting broken and unusable. There's always something. I've had multiple GoPros that I had 2 GoPro 4s that went completely bad. They never came back. They went to the other side and never made it back. They were that bugged out. They were broken. The GoPro 7 is amazing. I understand there's a lot of technical firmware, a lot of algorithms and things working in a tiny little package, and everyone, including myself, is generally using these cameras in really tough conditions. It's either underwater, in the sand, in the heat, in my case it's cold. The GoPro had a lot of issues in the winter with the batteries. Although they would be fully charged, you would start shooting and it would just die. The battery would go, I'm completely dead, and it wasn't dead. It was just it was cold. I understand things like that. I'm not blaming the camera at all. In general, I found workarounds for most of the buggy issues. If you had any problem, I would just pull out the battery, put the battery back in, or change batteries if you had a fresh warm one, and the camera will come back on, repair the file that it was recording at the time it froze, and then it will generally work. That is my experience with GoPro 7. So all in all, quite happy with it. Yesterday, I couldn't resist. I took some of my old camera equipment that I don't need anymore. I've been doing this a lot recently, trying to clear out a lot of old stuff. I went to a used camera shop that I know, and I took all this stuff in. I said, hey, can you guys just buy this stuff off of me? It was a mixed bag. They gave me 25,000 yen, which is about 250 bucks. And I was like, wow, yeah, great. It's just stuff sitting around in my office that I had no plans to use, hadn't used for a long time. Let someone else have it. I got 250 bucks. I went straight to the DJI store in Sapporo, and I bought it. DJI came out with their, what is it called? Osmo Action. The Osmo Action. This was kind of, well talked about on the internet recently. Kind of big news. Up until now, basically GoPro is like the industry leader. They have like 80% market share of action cameras or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous. And yet they're still losing a lot of money right now, which kind of, another problem. Anyway, DJI, who makes fantastic drones and gimbals, I was kind of thinking, like, if someone's gonna make a really killer action cam, it's probably gonna be DJI. And Well, they did. You know, I don't know if it's super amazing yet because I haven't even turned it on. Well, I've turned it on, but I haven't recorded anything. But they jumped into the market. They made an action cam that's, I mean, you could say it's a GoPro ripoff. It looks exactly like a GoPro, right? Pretty darn similar. It has a screen on the front, so that's the big difference. You can do selfie mode and see yourself. Other than that, it's pretty much the same shape and size. It fits into the GoPro mounts. It has its own little case. It goes in this case, and then that case can attach to all the GoPro accessories, like the clip that I have this on, the selfie sticks, a variety of other things. So, I guess, you know, they're really aiming at people like me and others who are similar, I suppose. People already, you know, have GoPros and maybe just want to try something different. I am recording this Carmentary on the GoPro 7 right now, and I'm going to change it over right after this, and we'll record the rest of it on the Osmo Action, and we'll get a real feel of how the difference is. Same surroundings, same car, same whole thing. I'll try to keep the settings as close as possible. I've put GoPro on the GoPro color mode, auto ISO up to 1600, auto shutter. I did raw audio on high just to try to get the best audio quality. These are not the settings I use all the time, actually. I had it on some different settings, but purposely I'm switching it back to like the real generic settings, except for the audio, which we're going to try to get the best possible quality. But I won't do any after editing on this one. Usually I adjust the brightness and the contrast of the video, and I always boost the audio in editing with Final Cut Pro, which I use, has a feature called Voice Enhance, which is a really simple setting just to pump up the audio, because I'm just recording this on the GoPro in the car and it never sounds that great, so I use that. But I won't use that this time. Same thing for the Osmo Action. I'll try to make all the settings exactly the same. I think it's 1080 30p I'm recording this at, so just real generic. And we'll see if we see a difference. It'll be interesting. I'm going to use this Osmo Action if I like it. I don't feel there's a need to completely switch over. I'm pretty sure each camera is going to have its own kind of look and feel. And I really like, now with the GoPro 7, just the general like color and just the sharpness. It's wide angle, but they've really been able to fix that, you know, kind of fisheye curvature, so you get this real kind of flat feeling, and I think it's great, especially for what I do, filming snowboarding and skiing. I was just this morning reviewing footage from this last winter, and I had filmed, this is interesting, I have the original Osmo gimbal, and I had filmed the first run with a snowboarder in Niseko with that, and I think the battery ran out, and then I switched over to my GoPro 7 just on a selfie stick, no gimbal, and there's a remarkable difference between the footage, and I like the GoPro 7 footage better than the original Osmo. And that Osmo gimbal, that's a big lens too. It's like it's good. The quality is good. You could say it's maybe a little more cinematic than the GoPro, but I don't know. Personal preference. I like the way the GoPro shoots footage, especially on like a sunny day. I suppose you could say that about any camera, but the GoPro really does know how to handle beautiful, sunny, bright days. Okay, so I'm about to stop and get my spring water out here. I always do this in Niseko. This will be the perfect opportunity to switch the cameras over, and we'll restart with the Osmo Action. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Boom! Osmo Action is in action. And, well, okay. I changed the I got my spring water. I changed the camera over. I hit the power button, and then I hit record. And immediately it says, activate camera through DJI Mimo, which is the DJI app that they have built for the Osmo series of products, the Osmo Action and the Osmo Gimbal, whatever it's called, the little tiny one that came out a while ago. So, yeah, this is a thing about DJI in general. All their products that I own, everything requires like a login, an activation. They try to sell you some insurance policies, etc. And it's always a bit of a mission. Let's put it that way. And whoa, there goes my spring water. As a Generation X 47-year-old American, I always just have this. I don't even read instruction manuals. You know, who does, right? You just pull it out of the box and you turn it on and you want to just start using it. That is like human nature, force of habit. But I have come to understand, and I was just now reminded, that DJI products do not work like that. If you get something from DJI, and this is probably going to be for a lot of camera and electronic products going forward in the future. I think everybody's going to start doing this. Be prepared to spend 30 minutes to an hour not only activating and setting up your product, but then installing the latest firmware, checking that with the server, yeah, there's a lot of things. Anyway, I was able to get through it pretty quick. Download the app, figured that out. I did buy the insurance that they offer, which is about 4,900 yen. It's just under 5,000 yen, about $50. You get 2 replacements. So if the camera breaks, whatever, you can get 2 brand new ones. And I thought, yeah, that's actually a pretty good deal. I'm pretty good with not breaking my cameras and equipment. I am like, there are people out there who they have the worst luck. I know people like that. Like every computer they buy breaks down. Like, I won't name names, but there's people like that in my circle. I'm not one of them. I am generally incredibly fortunate with all the machinery I own. It usually works well for me. But I decided to get the insurance. So paid for that, credit card, the whole deal. Anyway, we're rolling the camera now. I feel like I had to take the clip off the dashboard, so the position is not exactly the same as it was for the GoPro 7, but I don't know, I think it's okay. First impression, it's turned off automatically now, but the little screen on the front, for people like me who do this kind of selfie recording, wow, man, this is like, it's a big change, just being able to sit there and kind of go, yeah, that's the framing I like. It looks good, let's hit record. Wow, that alone, I mean, kind of sells the package to someone like me. If that's not what you do, like you never put the camera facing you. But even if you don't face it to you, what if you're filming someone else and you want them to see what they look like just for a moment? And I think that happens a lot. People are like, how's that? How far away am I? You know, you just go bump, bump. It's a 2-finger tap on the screen. It automatically switches to the front and they can see what they look like. So I don't see why it would be a bad thing in any way. I can see only positive aspects of having the screen on the front, seeing as how it doesn't cost that much more. If it was making the camera twice as expensive, then be like, oh, maybe you don't need it. But it's there, and I feel good about it already. I have nothing to say about the quality of the picture and the quality of the sound, because obviously I'm just recording this. We'll find that out later, and we'll be able to judge how different it was to the GoPro Hero 7. Again, it's on the same mount. This is a GoPro clip with like this bendable bar or extension. I love that thing. It's one of the best things GoPro ever made. Clips onto pretty much anything. It's very strong. It bends to where you want it. If I travel with one accessory, that's the one, man. It's so practical for little time lapses. You just clip it on something, and in trains, buses, airplanes, like for travel, way better than a tripod. Just setting up your little tripod somewhere doesn't work. The clip, it's the ultimate tool. That said, DJI, so smart, right? They don't even need to make accessories. They're just like jumping on all the work that GoPro did, you know, over all these years. And that kind of brings me back to the topic of how GoPro, it was recently kind of in the news. You know, they're a publicly traded company now. A lot of people own stock, etc. So, you know, when they announce their quarterly earnings, it's kind of a big thing. And I saw it on Google. Google knows I like action cameras, so they pop up all these news stories related to that stuff. And I did a little reading on it. So they reported their earnings, which they were at a loss, but it wasn't as big of a loss as had been predicted. So in this weird way, it was actually a positive piece of news. It's like, we only lost 125 million, and we were expecting to lose 150 million. So it's really all good. Which, you know, wow, man, I wish I could run my business like that. Jesus Christ. I mean, I lose like $125 and I start freaking out. It's like, we're in the red, $125. Oh man, gotta go and sell some of my old camera equipment. Yeah. Anyway, I guess the action camera market, although huge, is not what it was, you know, maybe a few years ago when everybody was in action camera fever mode and they were just buying them like crazy. I think the people who bought them have bought them. I know a lot of people who have older GoPros. Like, in fact, the guy I went to Mongolia with, one of the guys I went to Mongolia with, he brought along a GoPro, I believe it was a GoPro Hero 2. And he used that. It was fine. He gave me the footage. Obviously, it's, you know, it's not as good as the new ones, but still works. You got a lot of good shots with it. There's another guy I saw on the ski resort this year. He had the original GoPro Hero in like that big ass case with the extra battery, because the battery is no good anymore. You had to get the extra battery. And his massive case was duct taped to his helmet. It's kind of cool. And he was like, yeah, I'm totally happy with it. Works fine. So you do have that element of people who don't really feel the need to keep up with the latest and greatest technology, and they're just not buying new ones. And then, of course, you're going up against the smartphone. You know, the whole world has smartphones, and they have really amazing cameras, and they've really crushed the camera business in general. And the action camera has to fight against that because everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket. They're like, why do I need another camera with another battery and another charger, etc., etc.? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I think I like these cameras. You know, it's not the same as having a smartphone. I'm a big promoter of them. I think if you're into, you know, filming things, your life, your kids, your travels, if someone's giving a speech, you know, like anything, your phone is your phone. You know, someone's just going to call you right in the middle of when you're recording something. You know, the battery, you're going to use up all your battery doing this long video recording, and then you won't be able to call someone. You know, there's a lot of reasons to have another little camera. And I think before people go and buy kind of expensive little, I have like the Sony RX100 M5, which is an amazing little brilliant camera right here in this little package. But you know, it doesn't handle like the rough conditions very well. Battery again doesn't last very long. It's expensive and sensitive, so you kind of think twice about like putting in your pocket when you go skiing or do any kind of like semi-dangerous activity. Whereas the GoPro and something like the Osmo Action, you just throw it around, man. It's like, look at that. The GoPro, it just, boom, it's on the dashboard. I don't worry about it. And there's something to be said for that. And I think there's a huge group of people out there who will kind of go that route. They're going to have the action camera and use it to take photos, use it to take video, do all kinds of things with it. And they're going to have their smartphone. And they work so well together now. They've got these apps really worked out. I tend to work more on my computer and use computer editing software, so I don't do a lot of things like editing these photos and videos that come out of these machines on my phone. I do it on my computer. But there's a whole group of people, and I know a lot of them, some friends, who are amazing. They take the stuff straight to the phone, they do little edits, and they output that to their social media, and they're really, really good at it. So I don't know, it's just a matter of really kind of convincing the youth now that that's the way to go. Like, get your smartphone and then get your action camera. And maybe someday we will see a DJI smartphone, or maybe we will see a GoPro smartphone. I've been saying that for a while now. Like, why don't they just start making phones? Like, you're in competition with these guys. I would do that. I would buy a GoPro smartphone. I would buy a DJI smartphone. I mean, the link up between their other equipment and the phone would be awesome, right? It should be. They got the camera kind of stuff worked out. Seems like, although the smartphone market must be really, really tough to break into, but I'm sure they got to be thinking of that stuff, It's not like I'm the first one to think of that. But that would be cool. A little package deal, Or just make this a phone, man. I would do that. This little tiny phone, like, if you just punch in the numbers, it'd be like having a chat, and it'd be like, hold on. Okay, I got this shot. Okay, what was that? Why not? All right, I'm almost at my destination. It's raining out here in Niseko, but it was a nice day for a drive and a nice day for a meeting. It's always good to have your meetings on rainy days so that you can be out in the field shooting on the sunny days. Hopefully that works out. Sometimes I'm stuck in my office editing on the sunny days. It happens. Okay. I'll be back with another episode, maybe on the way home today. And hopefully this footage and this talk has been entertaining and enlightening. Until next time, drive safe.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.